Mana whakawā.
Marama Fox, 5-minute call.
Kia ora, e te mana whakawā. O tātou mate e tuatini, e takoto mai ai I runga I o tātou marae maha, I runga I o tātou papakainga, I roto I tō tātou whare, kua uhia rātou ki ngā taumata kōrero, e tika ana hei poroporake I a rātou. The Māori Party stands at this second reading to oppose the Countering Terrorist Fighters legislation bill. If I was to take a walk just 5 minutes down the road to the Wellington railway station, I would see the impressive bronze statue of Mahatma Gandhi. At the statue's unveiling in 2007, Mr. Ernest, the Indian High Commissioner, said, "On India's part, the gifting of the statue is an expression of our deep appreciation and acknowledgement of the commitment of the people of New Zealand for setting an example to the world of a tolerant, open and inclusive society." How is this relevant to the bill on countering terrorism? It has everything and nothing to do with this legislation. The major concern for the Māori Party is that the bill seeks to change the law to allow the NZSIS to conduct surveillance activities without a warrant in situations of emergency or urgency. It then allows the Director of Security to authorise surveillance activities to be undertaken in situations of emergency or urgency. So how does this connect to Gandhi? The statue immortalises our nation for its tolerant, open and inclusive society. And yet it is noteworthy that our champion of peace, Te Whiti o Rongomai, is not honoured similarly in a statue of his own. And where is the link to this legislation? Where it is explicit is that Te Whiti o Rongomai was the leader of Parihaka, a Māori village in Taranaki. Te Whiti was one of those great leaders alongside of Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, and yet his story is relatively unknown in our official histories. His story dates back to 1880 and the West Coast Settlement Act, by which any Māori in Taranaki could be arrested without a warrant and jailed for 2 years with hard labour. Te Whiti was arrested under the West Coast Preservation Act of 1881 without warrant, charge or trial, and jailed for 3 months. These two bills, which are precedent for the legislation that will be passed today, a bill which will pass into law measures to introduce surveillance without warrants. Warrantless surveillance is warrantless surveillance, whether it's for 48 hours or 24 hours. It makes no substantive difference. E te mana whakawā, we have been here before. We have brought into law legislation which does away with the basic human rights through the initiative of a warrantless search and surveillance. And while we welcome the fact that the amended bill has cut back the time frame for Security Intelligence Service to conduct surveillance without a warrant from 48 hours to 24 hours, it is the principle at stake. Our constituents have clearly told us that they don't trust the authorities with such extraordinary powers. Of course, we are as concerned as any party with the increased threats and accept the need for robust measures in place to ensure spy agencies can respond rapidly to terrorist threats. Hence the reason we disagree with the urgency under which this is being considered. But with the shameful history of this nation and its disproportionate treatment of Māori under a questionable surveillance regime, we cannot willingly allow the rule of law to be cast aside to increase opportunities for spying on New Zealanders. Te Whiti o Rongomai and Tohu Kākahi in the 1880s. The alleged Operation Leaf, 2004, which supposedly gathered political intelligence on Māori through wiretaps and computer hacking. Fast forward to 2007, the people of Ruātuki and Tūhoe, Operation 8. Just to be clear, we don't believe a warrantless search can be justified under any circumstances. We appreciated the changes from the Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Committee, and we are gravely concerned about the rapidly evolving threat of terrorism, both locally and internationally, but we truly believe that the capacity and capability of our safety and security measures can be increased without compromising on basic citizen rights. Compromises which, with overtones of racial profiling, may well infringe on the rights of Māori, just as has happened in the past. While there are considerable changes The bill has not been subject to a full process of public scrutiny and still poses a number of issues. We therefore continue to oppose it.